Hey guys, welcome to J.T.Engineering. In this episode, we're gonna be unboxing my solar 10-wheeler that I bought on Craigslist. This live steam engine is about an 8-scale 10-wheel model, and I'm pretty excited to get this thing going. This box weighs about 600 pounds, so we're gonna get it unloaded in the shop and take a look at it, and we'll film it all along the way. Let's get started.
For those of you who don't know, purchasing something like this off of Facebook Marketplace is kind of a big process. Because this hobby is so small, usually you're having to ship large locomotives like this in a crate via truck simply because there's not a lot of stuff locally. This is the second time I've shipped a steam engine project this way. I usually pick up my projects at the freight dock because it reduces the amount of cost that I pay in shipping.
On this episode of The Railroad Show, it's time for some big choo-choo action!
So first thing we gotta do is get this piece of shit out of the way. This is my 1967 Mustang, and it does not like to run. You can see we've already got some problems over here. Gonna have to bust out the air compressor and figure that one out. But then once that's out, we can go ahead and bring in this steamy box that's living in the back of my truck. There we go. It has risen. That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
So right now the plan is Mustang out, truck in, box out, truck out, box down, train out of box, train unpack, Mustang back in. Got it?
Wait, we gotta take the truck back out. Oh my God! Ashley's back there prepared to push because she knows this piece of shit isn't gonna start. Will it start? That is the question.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Let me play you the song of my people. Start, goddamn you!
Keep coming.
All right, we got her in the shop. Let's get her unboxed. These straps were doing absolutely nothing other than satisfying the highway patrol. All right, so I think our game plan is we're just gonna take the crate apart in the bed of the truck, and we'll use our ceiling hoist to get anything that's too heavy for just us to kind of grab. I'm really glad we got this tape on here for extra structural support.
Okay, we have to be very careful because this is fragile.
That's French.
For breakable.
Think I can just jump onto the box?
Please don't. That's a lot of trust and plywood.
All right, let me see the thingy.
The dude who shipped and built this crate did a pretty great job making sure it wouldn't come apart in transit. Almost too good of a job. This crate has so many screws and staples in it, we spent the majority of our time just trying to take the thing apart. It was pretty difficult to disassemble, but with all that being said, I'm really thankful that it arrived all in one piece. I'd much rather the crate survive the journey than come apart in transit, leaving my steam engine to die on the floor of some loading dock somewhere. Eventually, we were able to get the top off the crate and take our first look inside.
Yeah! Cut our strap here. Boom. First box liberated from the crate. All right, let's go see what's in this. First box looks like it's all drawings. And the solar 10-wheeler is basically an Allen 10-wheeler, but it was put together by the Solar Machine Shop, which from what I understand is no longer in business. If any of you watching this video know anything about this solar 10-wheeler, shoot me an email, leave me a comment. I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. But it looks like to me these are all Allen 10-wheeler drawings. So we'll go ahead and set this box aside. Keep on digging. DJ is cutting out, liberating this box, whatever's in that one. We can see here we've got our tender frame that's already been decked, so we'll remove that. And then the business end of this engine is underneath the tender deck. Pull it out.
Pick up this way.
Liberate it. Liberate it. Liberated. All right, let's go see what's in it.
Looks like some of the finer fittings. That's a very large horseshoe.
So just some castings. We'll have to take a little closer look in here and see what fittings this comes with, because I do need to place an order. Oh yeah, there's a big box of steam fittings. Well, we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. Let's get the real treasure out.
Let's go hunting for treasure.
So we've got the tender frame still in the crate. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the tender frame out, and then we're gonna lift this whole box up out of the bed of the truck with my ceiling hoist, and then we can get to the actual locomotive part of it on the ground. I think it'll be a little bit easier to take out. Let's take the tender frame out. Do you want to lift it up from here, and we'll see if we can get it on top? Pull it your way. Yep. Oh, this is pretty light. And then maybe we can just set it.
No, I think it'll be good.
Oh my God. Okay, yep, I got it. Oh, shit. Okay, that's good. All right, up off the truck. Off.
Okay, it's off, go out.
So the lesser known approach of locomotive to crate removal is the piñata approach, where you hang it from the ceiling and you beat on it until the candy falls out. Oh geez. Just kidding. All right, well, it's on the ground. It didn't fall, it didn't break. This crate did a really good job of getting the locomotive here because it's all in one piece. So now we're just gonna beat on it like it owes us money, take the side off and pull the engine out. Yes. We about got it off. Can we just like rip the front of it off? Just rip at it?
Why this doesn't want to come. There we go.
Let's reveal the goods. There is a 10-wheeler. Looks like the cab fell a little bit. Transit, which seems to be okay. Go ahead and pull it out. Nice little 10-wheeler cab. Relatively scathe-free. And the rest of it, let's get it out. Our plan is to come off the side, so we don't have to take the front and the back off to roll it out. So we'll see how this works out. I think we can squeeze it out if we can get these 2x4s out. Yeah, just hit that with a dead blow, but don't hurt my baby. Don't hurt her. Question is, can we slide it out now? The answer is yes.
It looks to me like if we can get the back to come out, then it's not going to hurt the front because the cow catcher has enough angle.
Excuse me, sir, that's called the pilot.
Anyways, we swing this out, the front.
Can you roll it forward at all? Yeah, there you go. Freedom!
There you go.
And set it down. Freedom! Half.
Very nice.
Ready, Freddie?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. You good?
Yep.
Perfect. Crate has given birth to the 10-wheeler. There are a couple small parts that are loose from the transit process. Here's a couple bolts. So we're gonna clean all this out. We'll go from there, I guess. So I think for the most part, the locomotive arrived unscathed. This is all the hardware that I found in the bottom of the crate. So there is a fair bit that had fallen off during the journey, but I should be able to figure out where all that goes. But something that's a little bit concerning is I did find these pieces in the bottom, and that looks like it's from something that was cast. I haven't found where it came from yet. I'm assuming it came from the engine because it's painted black and it looks like it was cast aluminum. So I'll have to do some checking over on the locomotive. But other than that, I think she arrived in pretty good shape. So this is the contents of the crate all the way out of the box on a rail panel. We'll just work from the front to the back so you can kind of get an idea what this locomotive is all about. So up front, we've got the pilot that's complete. I do like the idea of it. And as well, we have this little coupler release, which is pretty neat. Up here on the smoke box, it all looks like it's been completed. Now, the coolest thing about this locomotive, in my opinion, is the Walschaerts valve gear. These Allen models are usually a Stevenson valve gear, which uses the eccentric rods on the axles as the valve timing, but I really dig the Walschaerts gear on this. I think it's a lot easier to tune from the outside of the locomotive rather than having to get all the way down on the inside. You can see in here, the shipper has taped off the exhaust nozzle, likely just keep dust out of it. Same thing with these two fittings here. That's where the air will go into the piston. And by the way, apparently this runs on air, so here in just a second we're gonna hook it up and see if we can get the drivers to turn. But anyways, moving backwards, you can see we've got the running boards. They're all machined, as well as all of the valve gear. The brakes look like they're hooked up. The suspension is mostly there. We did lose a couple suspension parts in transit. I have them. These are all the parts that we lost, so those will be going back on the locomotive at some point. But everything is supposedly running on air, so this is a really nice starting point. The brake valves are already machined. Everything's hooked up there as far as that goes. On the inside of the cab, you can see we do have our brake valve here. No idea if it works, but it's cool. And then we've got our little lever, and the handle also disembarked the choo-choo while it was in transit. But the actual engine, I think, looks really nice. I'm happy with the purchase. I think it'll get me running a little bit sooner than the Fitchburg Northern project that's also on my channel. Back here, we've got the tender platform. It's complete. You can see it's wood decked. All of the trucks are machined. These trucks are the old school brass bearing style, which I think is pretty neat. I put roller bearings in the Fitchburg, so it'll be kind of fun to have something a little bit different there. So overall, it's fairly complete. Obviously, there's something missing right here. So we're gonna be building a boiler in this series of videos. We're gonna be doing a tender tank. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of videos on plumbing and everything. I'm hoping to have this running within 6 months or so. It'd be nice to have it running in the spring. Without further ado, why don't we hook this thing up to air and see if we can get it to do a chooch.
Breaking news, could your commute to work be fueled by compressed air? Find out tonight at 5!
Plug it in. All right, we are set up to do some chooching. The wheels are up off, they spin freely. I've got the compressed air hooked into what would be from the boiler, and I'm just using the regulator on my air compressor, so I'll give it a little bit of oomph. She was trying. Let's see if we give it a spin. A little more air maybe? That's a lot, but yeah, look at that! Will it go into forward gear? Put your hand over the stack. That's cool. Well, she runs on air. Forward and reverse works. Oh, there's the center. I'm gonna go ahead and call that a win. Pretty neat. Before I wrap this video, I wanna show you guys that I have actually been making progress on this. It just takes so long and it takes forever to get videos out, but I really, really hope I can get this engine running within the next few months. That's probably not gonna happen. I've been waiting on parts. That's a big problem with building steam locomotives, if it's kind of difficult to get parts sometimes. But you can see behind me, I've already put together this 36-inch tender tank, and this is specifically for the Solar 10-wheeler. If you wanna see how this was built, check out the Fitchburg Northern build series, and there's a bunch of different videos of how I put this tender tank together. And I'm also building the tender tank for the Fitchburg Northern as well. You see this tube here on the ground? That's a very special tube. This at some point will become our boiler. I actually drew up the boiler drawings in this in AutoCAD and had that tube laser cut with a tube laser cutter. It was super cool. It's gonna make it really easy. And you can see behind me here on the side steps of the Model T, I've got all the different parts that are gonna be going into the boiler. So we're gonna be building a boiler on this channel for the locomotive as well. Some other things I've been working on this project, I've been building the axle pumps. I've had to make this twice because the drawings for the Allen Models locomotive are different enough that it didn't actually work. So we've got our piston here and the correct size piston housing, as well as the check valve and everything in there. So there'll be a video coming out about this relatively soon about how to make an axle pump for your 10-wheeler or mogul or whatever it is that you're building. Well guys, that's a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am super stoked about this new project. I know it's a little bit cheating. The Fitchburg Northern is gonna be an awesome steam engine when I get around to building that someday, but I really wanted something that was a little more turnkey, that I could start learning how to operate a steam engine and start having some fun in my backyard railroad while I finish up the Fitchburg Northern. There's obviously a lot of things we still need to do. Number one being the boiler. I think that that's the thing that I'm most intimidated about, but I know that if I take the time, do my research, learn the techniques, I should be able to build one safely in my home shop. As I already talked about a little bit earlier in this video, we've already made the tender tank, so if you wanna check that video out, it's in the Fitchburg Northern playlist. If you wanna follow along with this build or any of the other builds that I have on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and until I see you guys again, stay safe and happy railroading. I'll catch you in the next one.